Hey Facebook fam, I thought I'd get on here and show you guys a different angle this time of my home office. Yeah, I gotta get some work done. I kind of been working all day, but this is me going live and showing you guys what I'm doing and what I'm up to. Before they ban me, I usually play music, but I'm gonna play some rugby. Usually, when I work, I usually like to listen to like rugby in like the background, or like some type of sport to kind of keep me like entertained while I work. But I'm gonna play one of my favorite songs before it might copyright me, but I don't care. So let me get started. She the type to get dance like I lost it like I dance. I want to what she about. Walk that walk, 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 walk that walk. Goddamn, she a sad face, body ass, yeah, she got a total package. Call me to the club like a nigga ain't watch. Shooting that strut like she in the mouth shop. Forget the mentions, yeah, she got the mentions. I wonder if she know that she the center of attention. To the other flow, doing her looking scene. She can walk that walk like the niggas do it with. The type you wanna marry, top notch classes. Niggas lined up trying to be her baby daddy. Excuse me, what's your name? How you doing? I'm just asking. Can I take you by the hand, baby? I'll be glad. Damn, I wanna pass, so I'ma come in her polite. By the way she flirtin', I can tell that she like. Wheel across the floor, but looking at me while she dancing. Sissy ass can be la mama, you ain't understand. She look good in her clothes, get to a toe. Prime slam chick, she the type to get chose. Girl so fine, she make a nigga wanna shout. Style so good, I wanna see what she about. She walk that walk, 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 walk that walk. She said walk that walk. She got a young face, Keisha cold eyes, making good lips and some sexy ass eyes. She yelling like the road and the wizard of the eyes. Got them other bitches hate talking like guys. Say, she go fade, and she tight stuff from her toes to her head. Take her out to eat before I take her to the bed and give her that. And I don't need no meds. All I need is her 30 minutes in a rub. Nigga like me, you'll find out another. Straight bitch, more 3 times, 1 out. Get into it in the kitchen, bedroom, or the shower. Yeah, talk I got what she need. Head boy knocking up against her knees. Get her from the back so I can grab her by the waist, flip her over there. All on her face. She look good in her clothes, get to a toe. Prime slam chick, she the type to get chose. Girl so fine, she make a nigga wanna shout. Style so good, I wanna see what she about. Walk that walk, 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 walk that walk. Let's walk that walk. She walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, that walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk. Let's walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, that walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, walk that walk, that walk that walk, that walk that walk, that walk that walk. Alright, let me stop playing that shit before my shit get taken down for copyright. They really like behind that copyright stuff. Like all my videos I post, I usually like play music, but I don't really care about the copyright. But they've been muting my videos as I put them up. So I thought I'd do a little intro with music and stuff to kind of get people to funnel in here. But what I'm doing today, I'm just working. What I got to doing, I got my to-do list here on the side. I got an operating manual that I'm trying to modify right now so I can hire a virtual assistant. I need a VA to kind of handle some data entry stuff for me on a lower level type of things for my accounting firm. So just working on the operating manual today. So they have something to, refer to, just like any old business. And then I got my rugby here on the side. Kind of keep me entertained as I work, throughout the day. Kind of listen to the rugby as I go and, catch like exciting parts. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I was going over my little to-do list for today. So what I did is I read the what's it called? The E-Myth. The E-Myth Revisited. And it's a really good book. I suggest any small business owner get that book. The book is talking about basically the mistakes that people have when they start off in business. A lot of things that they point out to why we fail in business. And one of the key things that stuck with me is a lot of people that start business, they don't realize that they're leaving a boss that they hate, they don't like, and they want to be their own boss. But they don't realize that they have multiple personalities within themselves. So this book helped me realize that there are 3 personalities in business. You got the entrepreneur, you have the manager, and you have the technician. So it goes deeper into those 3 different personalities that a business owner has, but that kind of keeps people from really like succeeding in a small business because they have these 3 personalities that they're trying to manage within a small business. The entrepreneur, which is very like, oh, I can do X, Y, and Z in life, and I want to do X, Y. I want to do everything. And then you have the manager who's like, this is how it goes, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is the method I'm going to use. Then you have the technician. The technician just wants to get shit done, get things out the way, and knock stuff out. So you have those 3 personalities within a small business owner that you kind of have to balance it out. So what I did is I created a to-do list kind of based off of each personality within myself that I kind of want to work on today. So the first thing I wrote was like technician. I'm working on my operations manual right now for a VA. Since I'm trying to hire a VA to kind of do some data entry for me. Then on the manager side, I have a strategy session. So I'm coming up with like relevant topics for like real estate professionals and real estate agents, meaning that I'm going to be focused primarily on the problems of real estate professionals and real estate investors. That's pretty much my niche and what I'm kind of like into in this lifetime. So I'm gonna be working on a strategy session on how I can add value to them and kind of come up with more relevant stuff that will be more helpful for them. Another one is reflect and meditate. I'm 29 years old and I'm kind of like reflecting and meditating on my life. And like I'm 29, do I really want to? Am I really at the place where I want to be in life? Like am I really like established like I want to be? Like I am kind of like my life is wealthy. Obviously I don't have a shit ton of money, but like the things I do and the people that I'm in contact with, I lead a very wealthy life. I would say that. So it's just a reflection of like where I'm at right now, where I want to go. And one key thing that I kind of found out in my group that we meet every week is you can either evolve or you can repeat. So either evolve or repeat, meaning that you evolve and it's something that being like who you are, or you just repeat the same habits over and over and your life goes by. So that's one thing I wanted to reflect and meditate on today. Another commitment of mine is to make it rain. So we have a make it rain of entrepreneur is the personality I'm choosing for that, and that's to make it rain. So I have to reach out to at least 4 different people on LinkedIn and kind of make connections with them and kind of build my rapport and relationship with them so they can, use me and trust me to, provide financial services for them. Number 5 would be technician. So I got a couple tax returns to complete today, and a couple of clients to kind of follow up with today that I'll be doing today. That's kind of the technician work, techie work. Then lastly, I have the entrepreneur. Is my last commit is that is to create content, which I am doing right now. I'm creating content on live with you guys. You guys are watching me from my home office right now, so I'm creating content that's relevant. Hopefully to the viewers that's watching or people who are just like nosy and want to see what I'm doing. I mean, that's what it's for. Like, you're supposed to be nosy and you're supposed to see what people are doing on these platforms. So I'm providing that. And that's pretty much what I'm doing today. I'm going to finish up this operations manual. I've been working on this kind of like all day. and then I'm going to go ahead and move on to my strategy session as a manager. So I'm going to shift my mind from being a technician, working on this operations manual, to an actual manager. Now I'm creating strategy on like relevant topics that is like really relevant to real estate agents and real estate professionals, because that is my target market. Yep, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to put on some rugby. I can't play music in the background. They're going to copyright my shit and take it down. So I'm going to put on some rugby, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Let me get to it.
On its way from Farrell. He's got his eye in, hasn't he? Terrific kick. And England, well, dream start from their perspective. 3 minutes on the clock, they lead it by 7 points to nil.
They're using their big ball carries, not only to let me put Billy Vinipola back in that England number 8 shirt, and that's the quick whipped pass. Whip it out. And it is a dream start from England.
Well, one thing is for sure, there'll be no panic from Ireland, but in terms of momentum, in terms of the psychology of this game, England could have asked for no more, and Mario Itoje receives the kick-off and sets England on their way once more. It was interesting to see just how quick the ball went from Youngs at the breakdown in the passage of play leading up to the try. Henshaw comes from a long way back. It's found its way into the arms of Jamie George, and it's there for Ben Youngs again. A good vision from the scrum half. Sees that Earls is out of position. Little kick in behind. And there's a real spring in the step and a steeliness in the eye of this English opening 4 minutes.
You Irish boys are going a bit quiet, I think. My word, everything is going England's way. What a kick into the corner. It's pressure all the time. That's the word we've been talking about.
You look at those stats from last year and where the tries came from. Line-outs 9 from Ireland, 7 from England, and that English try again. The line-out, such a rich source of points for teams, for these two teams in particular, and then yet again, as this championship starts, it is similar. Ireland get it freed from that line-out. Didn't quite hear the referee's decision, but I presume it was for not having a gap. Here's Daly to Ilagi. What a reintroduction to Six Nations rugby he's made in the opening 5 minutes. Ben Youngs for Jack Noel and Ireland. A little bit stunned, will want to just settle themselves into this game, make their tackles and find their way. Itoje is hit by Devon Toner. Back it goes for Owen Farrell, and back in the air it goes once more, and Keith Earls and Johnny May will contest this one, and there was a little bump, and where's it off to? Who's to get it? Keith Earls does, but he gets a face full of English shirts at the same time. Conor Murray and Josh van der Fleer, and Ireland just haven't been able to, haven't been allowed to settle by England. Sexton will set about doing something about that. Here's Stockdale. Has Ringrose outside him. Jacob Stockdale, of course, the leading try scorer from last year's Six Nations when he scored an amazing 7. Stander stopped in his tracks. Tackle coming from Mark Wilson. And advantage being played, and Ireland will try and take advantage. Bundiaki to Peter O'Mahony, but England read that one, but no advantage accruing, so back will come and it'll be a penalty to Ireland.
And that was the good and the bad from Tom Curry there, getting across the field as a good 7 should do, cutting down Stockdale. Unfortunately, he went for seconds in that ruck. You're not allowed to do it. If you're first there, you can get there and you can jackal over the top. You can't come over the top. Garces was over nothing, and it gives an easy out for Ireland, and I'm sure Sexton will just pop this down and then catch a breath, because they've actually touched the ball for almost for the first time in the first 6 minutes. What England are doing so well when they're carrying this ball, they're not carrying it upright, they're actually trying to hit the floor very, very quickly. With 2 guys out the side, hence that ball comes back so much more quickly for Youngs. This is it again, Kerry, you can't do that, they know that. Tagfield just pulls him to the ground, but unfortunately, like I said, the good and the bad.
It's a short line out for Ireland, and Rory Best at hooker. Devon Toner towards the rear, all 6'11" of them, or 2.1 metres, depending on what currency you're dealing in. That's Good work, and they go to the wall, and Rory Best has it at the back of the Irish wall, and England try to disrupt and stop Ireland getting forward momentum, and they've done a decent job according to the referee, because there's no penalty, and O'Mahony finds Stander, and well, there's a big tackle again from young Curry in midfield. He started really well, the 20-year-old. Sexton. England up quickly to make the tackles. Henry Slade, of course, of Exeter, up to make that tackle. And again, Curry at the centre of England's defensive effort at the gain line. Conor Murray, little kick over the top. That Johnny May read that very well. Has a look to see what's back there. And that is a kick that was inches from being perfect. But when it's not perfect, you find yourself under pressure, and it goes all the way back to where the kick was taken.
Almost two mistakes, isn't it? Curry giving the penalty right to Sexton there to put the ball down in the touchline. Best throws it in, and then that's the first real mistake, kicking out of hand or passing, whatever. Tommy May's just made there. Inches, doesn't really matter. Oh, my word. Well, if you touch the line, obviously it is out, so I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the touch judge.
Rory Best goes towards the tail of the Irish line, and Conor Murray digs it up, and Sexton pops it on. Very soft hands from the Irish out half. Here's Murray and Furlong in Ireland. Little gap opens for Murray. And England quickly there. Ireland need to protect the ball. Van der Fleer will play scrum half, and CJ Stander will be asked to carry. It's Mako Vunipola who makes the tackle. Million-mile-an-hour stuff now for Furlong at scrum half, and Gary Ringrose puts the head down, and Devon Toner tries to aid in getting forward momentum. It's advantage, is it, for the referee? Sexton. Crossfield kick, where's this one off to? Watched all the way, but we'll come back for a penalty. Johnny Sexton hit marginally late, but enough, I think, to get away with it. But three white not rolling away is Kyle Sinclair, and that's what the penalty is from the last breakdown.
You better take a breath there, Rob. But yeah, it's action all the way, really. This is the first time Ireland have had that ball, that sympathetic pass to Bundyaki, a bit like Tuilagi. You know what he's going to do. Almost a classic New Zealand line from inside centre. And then this is playing the advantage. It's the old kick pass. Keith Earls is never really going to get there. May's got plenty of time, he marks it, but this should be a given 3 points for Sexton. He's lining this up right in front of the posts.
Yeah, on second viewing of that, nothing in that from Vunipola. He was absolutely committed, and the kick from Sexton had just gone as he threw his body in an attempt to block it. So then, Jonathan Sexton, Ireland's out half, won just about every award there was to win last year. In 2018, World Player of the Year, and every accolade back in Ireland as well. 738 international points, his first opportunity of the 2019 Guinness Six Nations. Flags go up. Ireland have their first points. 10.5 minutes gone. Ireland 3, England 7.
Just rewards. I'm sure Joey Smith's behind there somewhere, behind the smoke glass. But again, that's what you've got to do in international rugby. If you get in the 22, come away with points. They're always going to kick that, but you can just see the confidence in that Irish side. All right, they've got blitzed in that first 5 minutes with that try. They will not panic. Pressure will not get to them.
Up goes Devon Toner to claim the restart from Owen Farrell. Another good kick from Farrell, pinning Ireland right back again on that angle. Very difficult to exit as far out as they'd like to. Peter O'Mahony tries to improve that angle, and Murray in behind young James Ryan, just 22 years of age. You look at Ryan in the second row for Ireland, and Toje in the second row for England. So much talent there. And that one, super.
I think that's an absolute beauty.
Beauty. Absolute beauty.
I can think of other words, but we'll go with beauty.
That's how each side played out of their own 22 last year. Not as much kicking as you'd have expected from Ireland out of the 22. Well, that's what they did on that occasion. Here's Youngs. watched by Keith Earls. Earls' 73rd international cap, and there's an arm outstretched, and Earls is still on the ground, and the referee prepared to let the advantage go. He'll come back and deal with it in a moment. Which way is this going to bounce? Oh, Elliot Daly's a lucky man. It nearly went over his head. But we'll see what the referee has to say about this. It may have been Tom Curry. The referee will go back and check with his touch judge, and let's hear what they have to say.
Le 7, je crois que c'est le 7. Pour moi, c'est un retard. Ouais, et c'est à l'épaule. 7 en jaune.
It is Curry.
Even my GCS French.
Yeah. And there's
He's going.
He's going. Jerome says it's clear.
It's clearly wrong. Usual shoulder on to your account.
And England, after their blistering start, are down to 14. And on such moments, momentum changes.
10 minutes down to 14. He's been, for me, the pick of the English players. Really, he's very committed, carrying the ball, and
yeah, there's no question on that.
There's
one.
no ball there. You know, he doesn't have to make this tackle. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to rough Keith Earls up, and he's had to pay the consequences. Which is 10 minutes having a cup of tea, and that was senseless. Really, there's no need for that. You know, the adrenaline should be out of your body by now. 12 minutes into the game, that was a penalty you don't need to give away, and a yellow card to Real as well.
Yeah. That's a young man trying to make his mark, and well, you need a cool head and a fiery heart, and he had a fiery head on that occasion.
And you asked, he's 20 years of age, he is learning all the time. You know, it's not long since he was at England under 20s. He's had, you know, matched experience with Sale Shark. This is a different level. This is a different level. You've got to keep your head.
Devon Toner wins the line out, and it's there for Sexton, and all sorts of movement in that Irish backline. It ends up in the arms of Robbie Henshaw. Jonathan Sexton, little gap opened up for Sexton. Slade, I think, the one to make the tackle, and then Conor Murray for Devon Toner. Ireland, what can they do with this numerical advantage for the next 9 minutes? England will happily be restored to 15 with the scoreline exactly as it is right now. Bundyaki, tied Furlong. Murray, Aki again, very involved. Sexton saw that on outside was cut off and took the tackle. Furlong once, or Ian Healy I should say, great feet from Healy. Here's Earls, fully recovered from that knock, stuck dead. Tries to get away, but Henry Slade holds on. Furlong to Ryan, but just forced a little, and England look to turn defence into attack, and Ringrose makes the tackle on Farrell. It's still advantage, so they can throw it around a little for a knock on, and the referee sticks out an arm. England still have the advantage, so it's risky, but there is a safety net. Safety net is taken, and we'll come back to the knockout.
A little bit of indecision really there from Farrell. He looked to kick long, and one thing I have to say about him, Farrell, he hasn't got the quickest of feet to get out of. That's the turnover. That's good defence from England, hitting a dominant tackle in the sense. Then Farrell jinks inside, but he can't get away from it. Now this ball's got to go downfield. It's got to go downtown. It doesn't. He puts Slade in a lot of trouble there. And it's needless. You know, at this point of the game, you're down to 14 guys, it's 14 minutes on the clock. Eddie Jones, well, I can probably tell you what he's thinking. Don't do that.
Here's the statistics from the opening 15 minutes in terms of tackles made, and it's pretty even. Just about on every level, but the dominant tackles. They're tackles that mean that the person carrying the ball does not get across the gain line or goes backwards, and in that way England have had 12 dominant tackles, which basically means they've stopped Ireland in their tracks.
That's the modern game, that's the professional game. That shall not pass. And you know, if you can get your arms free and go just a foot or two and offload, that's the difference. So they're trying to stop that, trying to stop any offloading whatsoever from the Irish side, and it's working at the moment, but they're going to have to work even harder, like you said. 7.5 minutes, or nearly 7.5 minutes, down to 14.
Just about 15 minutes in, and I think this is the first scrum of the afternoon.
For all those purists out there in the rugby clubs up and down the land in the world watching this is where it all comes. This is where it all begins.
And Jack Noel is playing. That's why Eddie Jones,
tongue-in-cheek Eddie Jones, and some journalists actually believed him. Oh my word.
Well, there he is. On the right side flank for England.
Yeah,
to be there, of course, with Curry in the bin. Youngs gets away, little dink over the top. Henshaw came forward and gathers the ball well. A little bit of space at Toje just about gets to Robbie Henshaw. England could be king for being offside. Looked like Owen Farrell broke the line there, but referee keeps the arm down. James Ryan is hit by Mako Vunipola. Aki, Henshaw, pass. Meant that Earls had to stop and retreat to collect. But possession there for Ireland. Gary Ringrose. Here's CJ Stander. Again, a big tackle this time. Sinclair is going to make it. Aki, Sexton. Now there's a bit of space for Ireland. Stockdale looks back inside. Holds onto the ball. Sexton and O'Mahony there to support. Murray for Furlong. Runs into his old Lions teammate, Mako Vunipola. Aki. Didn't go to hand, and Van der Fleer stretched for it and knocked it forward, and there's maybe an opportunity, although Ireland close off the space pretty quickly on England. Elliot Daly knocks it downfield, and after all that, we will have a throw into the line out for England, just short of the Irish 10-metre line.
Fantastic game of chess going on out there. You can see Ireland are trying to move England around, going from left to right. You know, sometimes you've got to earn the right to go wide. I think they need to carry the ball a little bit, but again, England's defence just holding on. And unfortunately, it's a mistake again for a handling error. You see Stockdale coming in, just brushing off Owen Farrell, doing what wingers should do. Don't go out into touch, come back inside and recycle the ball. Sometimes the bouncing ball is brilliant. Van der Fleer can't hold it. That's the turnover, and England can release that pressure again.
Green!
Scrappy. But do England still have it? They do. And Young's not the cleanest of ball, but ball nonetheless. Mako Vunipola. Tackle made by Cian Healy. Youngs with a little kick. Intense Ireland defensively, and then Toje gets him away, and it's advantage for Ireland again. Well, England are already down to 14. I wonder what the referee has to say about this one.
Well, we'll see it again, I'm sure, but I'd like to think it's awkward.
But we clearly charge the man without the ball, so it's not about the score of field. Okay.
Referee clear, it was charging and nothing more.
Referee's always clear. We wouldn't have a game with that, but level low them, it doesn't really matter. I think the right decision. Conor Murray's just, he's allowed to stand in the way.
Oh, I don't know, I can see why the crowd are annoyed, and I can understand why the Irish captain was having a word. But the referee saw that as a clean contest, although Toje, well,
I think
it's easy in a replay.
It is. Keithfields hasn't taken his eye off the ball, which is fine.
Do not make a difference between a clear yellow card and a clear penalty. This is a clear penalty, okay?
And I have no problem with that.
Yeah, thank you. Now, when you speak about this, it's a penalty.
I think Rory Best, as captain of Ireland, has got the right to come to the referee and just explain the situation and explain his decision. I would think, if I was a neutral, that Mario Toje didn't have any inkling to get that ball whatsoever, because again it was 5 or 6 feet away from him. He knew what he was going to do. The referee has to make that decision. England, I think, are very lucky not to get out of 13.
Keith Earls, in many ways, is still lucky to be on the pitch because he's taken some punishment in the opening 20 minutes. All the time the clock ticks down on the sin binning of Tom Curry. And England will be happy enough with what has happened in the previous 6 minutes of the 10 that they've been down to 14.
Use it!
Murray with one for Earls to chase. Well taken by Johnny May.
Stay. Okay.
That was the perfect box kick just outside the 22. May have taken the perfect take, you could have said.
Okay.
Youngs, Murray watches that one all the way, and into touch it goes.
Not a bad response from Youngs. Ollie Murray, two of the best scrummers in the world on show today. Tom May with that try in the first, 2 minutes? Silenced this crowd, but since then, really, you can just see Ireland just creeping back into the game, getting their patterns going. Again, not panicking, don't let the word pressure get to you.
That didn't look straight, I have to say, but the referee was happy to let it go. Back inside from Dudley to Keith Earls. England shouting obstruction, referee says, get on with it. Sexton, Aki, Gary Ringrose, little kick ahead, Ringrose and Stockdale go after it. May comes across, he's now Nesbitt, but gets it at the second attempt, but he also gets Stockdale and Ringrose. Then Ireland come pouring through, but England have somehow managed to scramble back and rescue the situation. Youngs with the exit kick that isn't going to find touch. Sexton wrapped up by Noel. Stockdale in the smallest of spaces, got the offload away, and maybe he should have held on. And the ball turned over to England again when the Aki told to get his hands off it. Back with Owen Farrell. And across the field it goes. Robbie Henshaw being dragged one way, and the other is Ireland's relatively new fullback, new in terms of position, not new in terms of experience. Murray, Ringrose, England again up quickly. It's been a full display of commitment to defence from England in the opening quarter. Toner, lovely hands from the big second row, but Sinclair wasn't going to be fooled. Ireland through CJ Stander, and Toje goes in search of the ball, and he's turned it over. Terrific work from Toje. England, though, slightly surprised to be in possession and get knocked back inside their own half. The physicality from both sides, breathtaking. Earls claims it. May, well, couple of errors from both sides, but somehow Stockdale's go away with it. And Ireland into the English half. Jacob Stockdale needed support. Here's CJ Stander, almost nothing outside of Ireland. With Murray, he the decoy. Johnny Sexton, ball doesn't go to hand. Ireland have not passed well, but that's as much down to English defensive pressure as anything.
It's not fair and obvious.
James Ryan. What a battle. 23 seconds left on the Sindini. 15 against 14. And Ireland get the ball. Well, my word.
We're done by 8. Offside by 2 wide.
Attack, counter-attack, pressure, everything. Penalty right in front. Again, it just started, didn't it? Johnny May, what on earth are you doing? Sexton decides to turn that. Was it a free kick or a penalty? I don't know.
It was a penalty from outside. And Ireland have kicked to the corner and declined the opportunity at 3.
England are back up now to 15, that's for sure. That's good for England. But they've decided to go for broke. They've gone for the corner, and you always say you've just turned away 3, and that would have been a given 3 with Johnny Sexton right in front of the post again. Rory Baskey and Healy. Here we go. You go for it. You've got to convert it.
Well, there are moments in every game that affect the ebb and flow and ultimately the scoreboard at the end, and this is most definitely one. Can Ireland, having declined the 3, get more than that from England's perspective? Hold out, and it'll feel wonderful. But right now it's O'Mahony who drives towards the line at the back of that ball, held up short. Cian Healy has his hands on it. James Ryan is at his back. Healy goes towards the line, but he's cut down. Patience required from Ireland now. They've proven time after time they have that, as Van der Fleer is hit by Sinclair. Murray can see the ball. Youngs has his hands on it. Ireland go down the narrow side. Advantage being played. They have a free play. Penalty on its way for Ireland. Stockdale screaming for an out wide, but the big man won't leave it out. And they've got over. It's Healy for Ireland. They knocked and eventually the door opens. Cian Healy
And what a moment in this game. And that's good decision making. Again, under that word pressure, they decided to turn the three down. They've gone for the corner. Rory Best hit his man. England didn't really jump for this line out. They set themselves. James Ryan catches it. They actually thought he was going to go to the back. That's where they put most of their big forwards. And then it's just a matter of time. This is the first initial drive. That goes down. Don't panic. That's what Ireland didn't do. Kieran Healy. And that's a lovely sight for a prop, isn't it? My word.
Wonderful body strength, upper body strength from Kieran Healy.
Rory Best just aiding him over that line. He's hit it low. He's used those. How many hours was he spending in the gym on just on the squats or whatever? And that's what's got him over. Ireland deserve that. Really do. They've turned the three down. They've got the 5. Will Sexton make it 7. What a game.
So for 10 minutes Ireland had the numerical advantage and could do nothing with it. Back comes Curry, England at 15 and Ireland find a way. And Sexton with the opportunity to add an additional 2. Touch judges confirm it. 26 minutes gone. 2 heavyweights throwing some pretty big jabs. Ireland lead it by 10 points to 7.
Perfect execution. You decide to go into the corner. The big loose set goes over. The big bears over. The crowd go up, and then Sexton just poof, he's only on the touchline. Another 2 points. But it all came really from that little mistake Johnny made. Net-making not his own self. A bit like Houget last night, letting forward him for one of those tries. And just. You know, it's ebb and flow. This game is superb. The contacts, the tackles are just ferocious.
This is tight Furlong. And Toje tries to hold him up, but Furlong gets the extra yard.
And this is the set. This is where Murray is so good now. Will he go for length or just get it into touch? He goes for touch.
I'm sure that's going to find touch. It doesn't. It's Elliot Daly for Billy Vunipola, and CJ Stander is opposite number up quickly to put the big man down. George. Here's Farrell. Jack Noel in midfield. He can spring up just about anywhere. Malcolm Vunipola, Rory Best and Conor Murray combine to make the tackle. Ball presented quickly as it has been throughout this game by England at the breakdown. Young's squirts out to him again. Farrell just pops it up to Jack Noel nonchalantly and says, play with that. Itoje, Farrell on the loop, and Slade and all sorts of runners in front of him, and Ireland somehow find a way around those blockers and make the tackle and then hold the defender up to create them all. And the referee is happy to let play continue. Ball came out on the English side, all good from their perspective. Youngs, Farrell, carry from Wilson. Ireland told to get away from it, and they do, just in time. And Farrell decides, maybe we can play down there, but it's not a good kick from Owen Farrell. Gave Ireland an easy exit, and England will start all the way back inside their own half. Jack Noel cruising along to see if there's a gap. And if there was one, the pace then comes. Farrell, Slade, Robbie Henshaw.
Not his best, Robbie Henshaw, but at least he was back covering. It's a totally different area to whether you train there to actually play. It's his first game in 4 years, whether it be for club or country.
Yeah, and after you release, play on. C'est bon, Romain?
I think one thing I will say is Garces is playing a great deal of advantage time for both sides, letting players to get to ground, so it makes it even a more open game.
Here's Youngs, England in a really good field position. Youngs for Tuilagi. Elliot Daly, there's a real purpose behind everything try of the afternoon. Something from nothing.
Something from nothing, but again, it's something you do. You automatically do. Stockdale, I tell you what, if he sees this back, which he will do, he's almost gifted it to England. England were going, there's not a great deal of shape. They get their big forwards just trucking up the middle. Slade puts the kick through, and it's the follow-up tackle from Noel, which he's allowed to do. He's actually on the man. Daly's following. Stockdale just gets the ball, pitter-patters it back to himself, loses it in the tackle. Perfectly good score.
Well, we saw Johan Gouget last night for France. If it was soccer, you'd say he threw one in his own net, and well, not quite as bad from Jacob Stockdale, but he will look at that. The bounce was wicked as it spun up, and Noel made the tackle, and Daly doing what a good fullback should do in those circumstances, following it in and grasping the opportunity when it came. Half an hour gone, 2 points in it, conversion to come.
Ready? Ah, yeah.
Good kick from Owen Farrell, really good kick. 31 minutes on the clock. Ireland 10, England 14. There's a precision and a purpose about England in that first half hour that was missing for large parts of the Six Nations last year and at times during November.
Without a doubt, it's lacking a little bit of shape, and they did lack shape actually before that try a little bit, but they're just holding it back together, get the big ball carriers going. Look, defences, modern day defences are so claustrophobic, it takes something to actually unpick them and lock them. You can just see why Slade is popping that ball through. Owen Farrell's been trying it a few times, likewise the Irish backs have been just putting it through, just trying to turn that big defensive wall. That time it worked for England.
Henry Slade is eventually put to ground by Keith Earls.
If you want to speak, 10 minutes.
Henshaw came, but it was taken by May. And Itoje goes cross field. Youngs with the kick, and Earls with plenty of time to deal with it and to slide. He's going to Stockdale rather than Henshaw. Stockdale.
No!
Here is Sexton and O'Mahony.
Bam.
James Ryan. And Ireland will just go back to their process and find a way of getting themselves back into territory. But England are really cutting them off on that gain line, and the momentum isn't there that you normally see from Ireland in the carries. There's a case in point.
Just to say, the one before, the line speed from England was absolutely frightening. Bundyaki had nothing else to do than to come back inside, and hope the support was there.
No, it's alright!
Alexander Fleer set right back.
No, three. It's enough.
Conor Murray's kick. Noel waits. Daly comes. Ringrose wins. Stander. Sexton. Bundyaki trying to slip away, and he has. Here's Robbie Henshaw. Jones goes after him. May helps make the tackle. Ball presented quickly. Murray arrives. CJ Stander. Jamie George makes the tackle. Sexton again. Tight furlong. And Curry stops him cold. Murray. Sexton. Bundyaki. Last year, in the final 10 minutes of the first half, England copped up more points in that 10 minutes leading up to half-time than they did at any other phase of the game. And conversely, Ireland scored more in the last 10 minutes of the first half than at any other time in the other games. Let's see if they can find a way of getting some more on the board before the half-time break.
Come on, come! Now two!
I'll tell you one thing, the bench is going to be even more important come the second half. This ball has hardly been out. I don't know how many lineups we've had out. It's just end-to-end step and just playing Shui just playing with it. He's given an extra 3 or 4 seconds.
Check in with you guys later.
Even faster again.
Peace.
At last, we have a break.